Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to Left 4 Dead. So we finished another campaign, so now it's time to once again be reminded that this secondary menu does not work. Let's make sure we play on easy, because there really is not really even that much difference between normal and easy. It just kind of adds the slight difficulty spikes in a few places, one or two in an entire campaign. So I imagine you'd have three or four difficulty spikes or die a lot more on advanced and maybe five or six on expert. Um, the truth of the matter is, though, I think on single player, you probably aren't getting a good experience even on normal uh, because I really have to look at this game from the perspective of the an action game and no longer a horror game. I also feel like only four of these campaigns existed originally, so I wouldn't be surprised if Blood Harvest and the Sacrifice were added later. And we finished Death Toll, so we're now doing Dead Air. We'll see if that works well. And then we've played as Bill, we played as Zoe last time, we played as Francis the first time, I think. So we're going to play as Louis, or Lewis, this time, which that's fine. After that, I suppose we'll just leave it at random, because it kind of doesn't even matter. Like, you don't look at the characters enough, and they don't have any kind of like dialogue or anything. You have a bit of a cutscene, which that's interesting.
That plane's headed for the airport, and the airport ain't far from here. If nobody's got a better idea, I say we head for the airport too.
Now, interesting, we're not starting in a safe area, and oddly, we are not. We're not really in the same chronological storyline area anymore either, because the last thing we did was to get in a boat and escape via boat. Here we're having kind of a shooting gallery section where we can shoot people and warm up. I think that's arguably all that is, though, is just a warm up. Because while there is an achievement for killing 53,000 people, zombies, whatever, I guess they were people at one point, that is, standing here for hours and hours still would not really lead to a scenario where I've killed a significant number of people. Alright, well, let's go. They are giving me the tip to crouch. I've already seen that tooltip once in previous scenarios, and I guess maybe when you start a new scenario, all the help assistant system resets. But it seems to be fairly basic in that just picking up items, running and aiming and gunning is enough to say you know everything as far as the health system is concerned. So I wonder if this is supposed to be a bit more of a rooftop thematic level. We've had rural, we've had suburban, we've had urban, but we haven't really been on the rooftops. This would be a way in which they could take some of the level designs sections. So I guess there's the boat, but that doesn't make any sense either, because it implies that these buildings are flooded and that the whole world is flooded, and that would be cool. I mean, it does say that an entire city sunk or is flooded. But yeah, it otherwise doesn't make sense, and there should be some bit of explanation there. Like, are we in a nuclear fallout winter now where the world's gonna be flooded? Does that fairly explain why we're not going to be on the ground? Like, we very possibly are just walking on the rooftops of the first level. And honestly, we started the whole game in the No Mercy scenario on a rooftop, and then never did anything like that again. Where it would have made a lot of sense, since that is the initial cutscene in particular, to have many scenarios where you climb up fire escapes and end up back on the roof. There you go. I just got an achievement for something. I have to basically stand in front of the other characters so that we don't end up killing them. We've seen this same kitchen design 3 or 4 times, and it definitely highlights that they know they don't have enough level design. I assume all of this would have been used in a potential Halo 3, not Halo 3, Half-Life 3, because that would make a lot of sense. Don't have any zombies that can cling to the roof. That's something BioShock with its splicers introduced as a potential concern, and it's a good enemy design, frankly. The Fear series also had zombies or monsters that would go invisible and jump from the roof. They're already going fairly weird with the boomers and the smokers and all those mutants anyways. It's not that crazy to help need food. It's not that crazy for them to go the next step and have some zombies that can turn invisible. Problem here is every time we go a little bit lower, it feels like you could just jump downwards and survive. And I assume I would just die if I did that. And I assume particularly that if it's a dark area.
I think I hear a hunter.
I'm just waiting for him to strike. Here we have a Holly Street. And they're trying to make it.
Oh man, you better look at this. Check this out.
And then, yeah, and they just go and revive you, but they don't even have like a knife or anything. See, they don't go up. There's no ladder to go up to. So they really did want you to work your way down this way, and only that way. Just walk right next to zombies. They won't even do anything to you. You shoot these and they'll fall, but bumping into them, not so much. Yeah, it seems like we'll be back on the street by the time we get over there.
Through here.
9 of bullets in the clip. So, unless you were going to get major...
Pipe bomb here.
Yep. Like, unless you're gonna get major headshots, you can't, it seems, take out. I guess there's nobody back there. That time, you can't take out a whole horde on your own, even in single player. I'm a little surprised we didn't have them reuse the dead body on the bed trope. Maybe we'll see that, because we saw that in the first scenario, and it does kind of feel like we're just rehashing some elements from those previous sections. Now there's an achievement specifically around knocking off a hunter when he's attacking one of your friends. This is an odd picture. And yeah, you really are not even in single player given enough time to do it. The only thing I could think is that may get an achievement here for not taking any damage whatsoever. Although maybe not.
Smoker! Smoker!
See, if you get stuck even a little bit, it seems like it just drops you. Alright, let's just test this. If I fall down here, did I take damage? I guess I did. I have to really wonder how much of a difference setting off a car alarm is versus starting the witch. Because it seems like it kind of does the same thing.
Reloading! Reloading!
Yeah, that.
Reloading.
Just go and take some pills. We'll look over here to see that, yes, if we had fallen down in that section, we probably would have gotten stuck in either a soft lock or just died. To avoid that soft lock, which I guess I need to be careful about using the phrase soft lock, because I suppose an inescapable situation probably does fall under that category, but I am not 100% certain that it does. And we're going now into a hotel area, so we probably won't see. Slam it on the boomer. A lot of these sections are barely 10 minutes long. Even trying your best to look around. Yeah, so we might be seeing a lot more. Well, clipping through him first of all, but we might be seeing a lot more of a situation of new content, new 3D models, which might indicate that this was one of the later developed or added expansions. I definitely think some of this was DLC. But I guess it doesn't really matter too much. Since we're playing on easy, I might as well just heal myself up fully. And then see if I can heal Zoe, since she seems to have a tiny amount of health down.
Really? Thanks.
And then who do we think? We'll heal Francis just in case. Oh, apparently I can't heal Francis or Zoe. Oh, they must all be at 100%. Right. And we don't have any upgrade guns from the looks of it. And we don't have any pills. We don't have any Molotovs or anything like that. You do have more of a kind of open window section here, but it isn't really going to help much. I ran in a wide curve to avoid my shots, which is interesting. I guess I could have locked a zombie in there. It's trying to do some comedic environment storytelling, I suppose, but I don't feel like it's particularly saying anything of interest. I was thinking we were going to go through a hotel, and somehow we've ended up in the hotel kitchen, and then we're leaving out of the loading docks and back to street level stuff. Well, that feels particularly disappointing. Yeah. In a couple of ways, because that definitely makes it feel like that entire safe room is full of 3D models that the rest of the level and the rest of the game will just never have or use. I guess we are jumping over. Yeah, it would be fairly silly for them to let me get into this area and again soft lock. It wants me to climb up that way, so maybe we are going to get in the hotel.
Careful! I hear a hunter!
I still don't think we actually convinced the hunter to come down. I don't know, maybe we are. All I can do is climb here. Like, this ladder is wonky to say the least. You push forward or you die, and here we have some more environmental storytelling of a zombie corpse. I assume that there was nothing else there and we are supposed to go up. This could be very interesting, though, if we end up if we ended up just shooting through the windows. I guess we are getting back into the hotel, so we are going to get to see more of this. In a funny way, zombie games with hotels are kind of bad, because like even Dead Island that starts in a hotel fails to really have you do anything in that hotel. You kind of escape it and then nothing else happens there, and you're not going room to room cleaning out zombies or anything like that. Here they brought back the Coke machine. You can hear the Coke machine buzzing, which is an odd choice in sound effect considering how there's a lot of other things that are just not powered on or that don't make sound effects or have very small reactions, like the fire extinguisher. Can't even see what's going on in here, so I'm just taking damage because it's so dark. And remember, I'm playing this with the brightness turned up a fair amount. So, yeah, far too often it feels like video games are either being made by people who have really good eyesight or just really bright monitors or TVs. I wouldn't be surprised if there is a certain truth to that, and this is going to be funny when we look around this corner and it's just a little bathroom. It literally was. So theoretically, all that mob was theoretically all that mob was crammed in there. They have like one zombie trying to make their way. It brings about an interesting question, seeing so many people in a single hotel room. As far as the zombies, do they have some kind of just natural effect in which they clump together? Like one zombie makes enough noise or movement to attract another zombie, which makes twice as much noise and movement to attract another zombie. Is it a constant feedback loop because of that?
Nice.
And see, all I'm doing is pulling the gun faster. No real skill there. Pulling the gun faster and maybe getting lucky and getting a headshot. It's so easy to get turned around in these dark areas too. I wouldn't say I want to see horror games or zombie games. A lot of artwork here that we'll probably not see used anywhere else. But yeah, it's annoying, to say the least, to have an entire section of the game so incredibly dark. A lot of these hotel rooms could have been the houses in the previous scenario that you couldn't enter. Of course, this is also setting up for an incredible linear experience. We're going to use a lever to lower a crane.
Look out! Grenade!
Come on, I saw a Molotov in here. Don't tell me I just threw my grenade for no good reason. And see, that's where we started. Guess we should... Well, this guy may very well knock me off the edge of the building.
Guys, I need some help.
Where's Zoe?
Help!
I need some help.
Help me!
Okay, I think I can get
All
you
of them.
up. Just hang on one
All
more second.
4 of them.
I'm here.
Thanks.
I got you, man. But grab my hand and we're gonna get you back on solid ground.
That's what I owe you.
You're welcome, sir.
Wow. All 3 of them got knocked to the edge, and then the game glitched and decided all of them were hanging on the same edge over there. Danger.
Pipe bomb!
Okay. So,
Molotov's here!
I think Molotov would be a little bit better in this scenario. I think we go up here. And pull it.
Stay positive, guys. I got a good feeling about this.
And I suppose I probably should just decide to Molotov here. And then Molotov over there. And we'll keep the pipe bomb for later. And I assume we're waiting for that to just slowly come down. I assume that this isn't a run and jump scenario. Yeah.
Cover me.
It's down. Let's go.
Yep, the game decided not to really even give us much of a challenge there. There was a good 30-40 seconds of nothing happening. That gun sounded like it just gained a double speed, and I suspect that's just because they wanted to help you. That'd be a weird way for the game to cheat in single players, to have the non-player characters get a double gun rate, but whatever. Double the bullet speed.
I'm reloading.
Right, well, how about we throw one way over there.
Grabbing
And
a pipe bomb.
that'll clear out an area over here. We're back to roof top. You can definitely see how you can definitely see how there I just punched the hunter and got an achievement for that. Which I guess you probably should just wildly swing when the hunter is about to hit you anyways. Yeah, the concept of being in a forest is not bad. The concept of being in a city is not bad. The concept of being in a more suburban area is not bad. Being on the roof's not bad. Being in a hotel's not bad. The problem is we run into each of these concepts for about 5 minutes. Then they do nothing with them, and then they move to the next thing, which isn't any better or worse than the first thing. And that just becomes, I guess if you're gonna make a remake, you'd probably get rid of the big monitors. It's funny is I hear someone laughing and there is no mutants with a laugh sound effect, so that must be either some creepy sound effect I heard or Meryl's Law. That was the bathroom. I wonder if that's their actual lawyer's office. Put in the game.
Behind you.
It would be weird if the zombies did mutter sentences and sounded human. That'd be very off-putting if people were saying things like, "Where are my car keys?" or "I've got to get to work. I need to get some gas in the car." Just whatever was their very last thought.
Pills here.
I'm grabbing a hunting rifle.
Let's grab the assault rifle.
Weapons over here.
And so it just got bored again and put a ton of zombies spawning in that area. Again, a bathroom.
Reloading!
Reloading!
It's really ridiculous. I guess you would die if you fell down that way. Still really no reason to shoot these TVs, which are obviously nothing but light sources.
Reloading. Pills here.
Who doesn't have pills?
Pills here.
I don't think many of them have pills.
Better grab everything.
Did they not? Did they not grab the other pills, I wonder? It's so unsatisfactory to maybe find a zombie and nothing else in the toilet stalls. And I seriously doubt zombies would spawn inside the stalls themselves. So there should be items in that area.
Ammo here.
But yeah, I would just prefer them to just focus on one area and one type of gameplay for a good 30 to 40 minutes and then move on to the next area. It seems like they broke up the entire game based on themes, and
weapons over here.
And those themes then just determined the locations. You guys better pick up these weapons.
Weapons over here.
Well, they're not willing to get any. They don't look like they're gonna get them, so guess we'll have to move on. It would make a lot of sense going down the stairs of a hotel and eventually making your way to a sewer section too, or a street level section. We'll have to see if we can avoid the witch. We'd like to. See, now we're in like an office building sponsored by Dell, maybe? Does that really say Dell? I can't read it. Beefy computer, it says. I wouldn't be surprised if at some point they thought about it being a sponsorship from a computer company of some sort, maybe not Dell.
I'm reloading.
Definitely would have been a different situation when this game first came out, and like in a modern timeline in 2021, I don't think Valve would have tried to bring the Orange Box games to console. And I guess maybe that shows that they have grown possibly a little bit in what could be described as a kind of PC Master Race immaturity stance that they very well may have had 13 years ago. But arguably, now I think the gaming community has grown enough that it would make sense to potentially release a game like this only on PC and skip the consoles. But it's also so much easier these days to make a game run on consoles. It would make a lot more sense just to still have that cross play and ports to consoles exist. Like nowadays, the right move would definitely be to have any new game made by Valve playable on day one on an Xbox, a PlayStation 4, or Switch, all of them.
Molotovs here.
All right. We're not gonna get lucky and just have her in a room wailing. But, and that's where.
Pills here. Oh man, do not piss the witch off.
Huh? What? Why in the world would they startle a witch and then have her die in one shot when I'm not even looking around? Like, see, if there was a gameplay mechanic here and I just didn't understand it, where, say,
Molotovs over here.
Where say the entirety
Grenade.
the witch withers and dies, so as soon as you start hearing the witch, where's my bomb? Oh, you just lose it, don't you? Well, that sucks. I was gonna go back and pick it up. That's not something you would expect to see happen. These military guys don't make the most sense in this location. There's nothing secret under here. I don't know if zombies can actually reach me if I was under there. That would be an interesting question too. So here we're trying to see an example of, I guess, pathfinding and hordes jumping over cubicles. The Valve officers are famously said to have desks that are on wheels, so the employees can decide to go and work on any project they want whenever they want, and they can basically just abandon a project that they've already started with no real accountability. It's interesting that that was considered protecting Zoe. The concept of desks on wheels actually implemented is really silly, but the concept, even philosophically, is something that's proven itself to not really work. As much as it may suck to work for somebody else and have a boss that tells you what to do, a lot of people need people to tell them what to do. I'm not going to say everybody, but a lot. More people than who would like to admit it. Otherwise, you're gonna get distracted. Otherwise, you're gonna get pulled in different directions by other people. A lot of people are gonna also just be very listless. A lot of people's jobs are some percentage of busy work too. So, if you fall into the thought pattern that all of your work is busy work and it isn't, then you end up doing basically nothing. And so some of the work would potentially, less work would get done. Even as a YouTube content creator, there is a major part of the content creation process that I hate and would ideally, I'd love to never have to do it at all, but it's the scheduling part of videos. So if I don't do it, then the videos never actually air on YouTube. So if I had a boss, I imagine the boss would probably force me to schedule videos a lot more consistently and probably with a lot more efficiency. And I imagine I would either do it or the boss would come in conflict with me. Of course, it's also hard to run your own business and then have someone else tell you what to do. But that often is what exactly happens, is that you own a business and then you need someone else to keep you on track. Otherwise, you'll get a little bit lazy with it. Alright, well. So he's got Zoe pinned in the corner. Everybody shoots at him.
Watch my back.
It is very weird though that we went from a hotel section to a law office section. Which way are we going here? To me, it implies that we are supposed to be here. Who closed the door on us? One of these players definitely closes the door on people. I don't think any are going to show up this way. Where are we supposed to be going here? It seems like we are going in circles to end up in the same place. I guess we did go in the circles to end up in the same place. Just walked right through this tree. Interesting. Do all the trees not have clipping? So yeah, we're back on the road section. No, that tree has clipping. It's just that tree doesn't. You would think they would have fixed that at some point. I bet this is not a game that has ever really received a patch. The city streets are becoming the generic filler middle content to other areas. And there's a definite question about what city this is we are actually in. Like, yeah. I guess if I had run immediately into the safe room, I could have then run out. Let's see. I could do here.
Smoker!
I would have had to wait to see if those guys would have really decided to come and save me, and then seen if I could have convinced enough people to stay outside of the safe room. Yep. You probably would want to program this a little bit better so that the main characters, the AI characters, don't go in the safe room until you do, or they wait for you. There's a water heater. You'd think maybe that would explode. Then you have an upper section here, which we almost certainly will never actually see that implemented as something else. Are there enough health kits down here? Yeah, so there's really no reason for this to exist this way. Do I want to heal right now at 64? Or do I just want to try and wait? There's no real zombies to shoot. And I'm hoping that this will be a fairly short chapter, otherwise we're going to go fairly long. There's nothing in there. There's nothing. No way to get on the roof, it seems. Probably wouldn't hurt if we entered a whole construction area for a longer section. More of a falling action kind of area where there's just a lot of zombies wandering around to shoot at. Yeah, with these round columns, that could be places where zombies would spawn or hide. One of the things that I think is like very possible in a game like this would be the increasing of the strength and durability of an average zombie if this wasn't all about numbers and more of a scripted experience. I think I would be happier if I was going through this area and here they come. What did I do? What did I do to trigger them coming?
It's clear.
And I guess you just run next to him to help him. It really loses the horror aspect once the game stops being realistic.
Use your first aid kit.
And
I'm healing.
like that is what I'm feeling certainly. That is that we've run into enough of the massive amounts of zombies that the game has kind of lost its believability. No. Like, am I supposed to be doing something? Like, I don't even know where that smoker that's attacked us a couple of times is. Where are we supposed to be going? Yeah, if we're supposed to be working our way this direction, there's little really pointing us towards that idea. So I guess we are supposed to be going down this hallway. Of course, I have to wait for the fire to decide to... They see that boomer from way over there. Got a gargantuan, which is chasing after me. I guess we might be going towards an electric area.
Grabbing pills.
And see here we have another broken part of the road that it would make a lot of sense if they said there was like a giant worm zombie eating up and destroying the roads. That could have been a boss monster. It definitely feels like there should have been more boss monsters in the game, or any boss monsters. So it will leave the ones that are naturally spawned there, but it won't leave the others. It probably loses that, so if I was to try and pick up the Molotov at this moment, it probably would not work well.
Hunter on Francis.
Then you have this big tower, and there's just like nothing really happening as far as... I'm not even having to shoot anything. Alright, well. Bill.
Here, take this.
Bill just gave me the pills back. Alright, well, whatever. You'd think that these transformers would have been something that you would have seen a lot of up until this point. And it's just not really the case. And that probably highlights the fact that there's just not enough... When this game came out 13 years ago, they just didn't have enough textures, memory to have different 3D models. So if we're seeing these 3D transformers, we are probably not seeing anything else. Also, you can see there's a lot of zombies getting glitched into different shapes, so there's kind of a lack of polish as far as the engine. Whereas nowadays you'll have like modern games where you walk next to a pole and the main character might just very naturally place their hand on the pole, and that definitely takes more programming and development than you would think it would, because that's something that comes very natural, is being aware of your environment. That's not natural at all to computer programming. It's not free stuff. And seeing 3 transformer sections probably indicates to me that this is the only area we're going to see this. These make
Reloading.
this makes for a nice area as far as like for having zombies hide around corners. A little low on bullets.
Reloading.
You could have maybe made it so that the
Molotovs here.
witch knows the pain of other zombies.
Grabbing pills.
So it could have been a scenario where the witch gets startled
Grenade.
when you kill a certain amount of zombies around the area. Where is she?
You okay? I'll live. Come on up. Whew. Thanks.
Stay still. I can help you.
Thanks. I owe you a big one.
I doubt we would have been able to get through that area stealthily. Plus taking damage.
Pills here.
Suppose you guys, hey, you guys come over here and get some pills.
Here, man. Take this. Grabbing pills. Go ahead and take this. Ammo here. Molotov.
Reloading.
Grenades! Ammo here.
So we'll get some ammo, get prepared, and then you have this weird kind of sink area, which it looks like there would be computers here, but they're not. There aren't any computers there, which again makes me wonder.
I hear a hunter. Molotovs over here.
Can we possibly find something? Nope. So we're gonna have to work our way through here. Alright, now we can throw one of these.
Told you I'd
Look
be
out!
here.
Grenade!
Where did those Molotovs go? Some. They're over here, right?
Pipe bomb here.
Is it really worth your effort to run back and forth?
Pipe bomb.
Not likely. Well,
Pills here.
We might need these.
I got something for you.
yep. Let's turn the flashlight back on. Some of these games you need the flashlight on the whole time anyway, so you might as well have a timer in which it just resets itself instead of what we normally see in horror games where the timer is that the battery runs low. So I'm assuming that we might get into kind of a subway section, which we haven't seen any more of that. And I assume that a plane crashed, and in the crash of that one plane, that probably stopped it from being a possibility that any other survivors could have escaped on the plane. Although maybe some survivors did escape on a plane. In a zombie apocalypse, one assumes that the highly dense locations would not be very safe. It's weird that there's just piles and piles of luggage, though. Like, that really doesn't make any sense. I'm just looking around to see if there really is anything more. This is a fairly large open area where you would expect it to throw a gigantor at us or something. Are we supposed to jump up there? That wouldn't lead anywhere. I don't like the idea of a level being visually cryptic, particularly in the multiplayer implementation of this game, since it is multiplayer first and foremost. That does not make sense. So I must have just missed where the entrance is. It must be somewhere over here. Yeah. It's over here. What you needed to have wrapped around. And then we're going through the parking lot, which it would have made a lot of sense to go through a lot of the other parking lots. These people are nowhere near me.
Let's go through here.
It is interesting that they won't go. I'm gonna see if I can see the entrance to the safe area and run into it. Just to run out and see if I can save somebody. I think the answer is probably no. We're probably closer to a halfway point than just about there. Go ahead and take those pills. That guy's already dead. There's nobody over there. I threw the grenade the wrong direction. I'm gonna try and shoot this guy. He's stuck between the roof and such.
Thanks, man.
Let me get you up.
Thanks a lot.
It is so weird. Here's a glitch, obviously. But it's so weird to have your flashlight sometimes be really small and sometimes be really big. And I guess some of it has to do with how close you are to the wall, but notice how it gets bigger when you get closer to the wall and kind of clips into a whole different size. Which maybe that means their math was off when they were programming the lighting engine, or maybe that has to do with the math being off because I'm playing at a higher resolution, although there's really no reason why this wouldn't have been programmed to support 1080p even 13 years ago, as far as a resolution. This side is blocked, so apparently so, and there's a car blocking here. Alright, I'm gonna go in and then out, and then let's see if we can convince anybody. Yeah, they just will not come out of there once you're in. So you're just done with the game at that point. And there's no reason to say pick up the health kits and heal and then close the door, because I assume the health kits and all of that would... There's that dog food again. Here we've got some big beans. Some Cheerios. Is that what that says? Choco Bites. And if you had just dropped in, this would have been your first opportunity on multiplayer to get double bullets and double handguns and upgrade your guns. Notice in these scenarios that we played in this episode, we really haven't run into a lot of places where you can get the upgraded guns that were particularly out of the way. This is a different depiction of bullets too, which is weird because we don't really see enough bullets piles to really justify there being two different kinds. I literally walked past this and did not realize that this was bullets, so I'm now wondering if there is several places where I have potentially missed a stash of ammo. But yeah, we're just still treating this game very much like an action game and having a mediocre amount of entertainment around it. I am thoroughly unimpressed, right? Frankly, there's just nothing new or special happening here. It's just run from point A to point B to point C. This is one of those games, like most multiplayer games, where a lot of your fun will be had by playing with your friends. And if you're not playing with your friends, which a game like this, even if the servers still are running, are probably fairly devoid of people you know, you're just not going to have that experience. You would think that if Left 4 Dead or a game like this was going to be a long-term game, and inherently almost no multiplayer game is long-term. It burns out in at most 3 or 4 years, and then they move on to the next thing. You would see some kind of seasonal content updates. It would be something much closer to Destiny 2, and even Destiny 2, which is probably the most played game, has had major fall off as far as its online lineup of people that are playing. It's far from its peak. You might think World of Warcraft too, but even World of Warcraft, which was the most played online game for a long time, lost a ton of its player base and only managed to get a small bump up in its player base by relaunching its old content. Of course, World of Warcraft was constantly changing and drastically changing the world, so you couldn't play the old versions of World of Warcraft, and that's where the relaunch made a lot of sense. For Left 4 Dead, I think Valve would have been very well suited to say this is our horror game that we're going to put out every couple of years on Halloween, and it's going to shift from just being multiplayer to being multiplayer and having a good single player experience, taking what they learned as far as the storyline single player experience of Portal and what they knew already from Team Fortress 2. But yeah, if they could serialize any of their series, Left 4 Dead probably works the best, because Left 4 Dead is also not canonically, as far as I can tell, in the Half-Life universe at all. There's no head crabs, whereas the Portal universe is part of the Half-Life universe. So, and Team Fortress is a little too cartoony to have a narrative section. So yeah, I wouldn't have been upset, frankly, if we were in 2021 up to Left 4 Dead 10. And even if they were just fairly short things, short single-player campaigns that didn't have much story and just new level designs and new concepts, that would have been great. Valve could have even outsourced the development of the levels and everything and just slowly iterated on their Source Engine and Source Engine 2 to show that they still knew how to program even in their own engine. Because you could arguably make an argument that even Valve employees probably don't know how to use Source Engine 2 very well, if there is a good way to use Source Engine 2, because they have nothing to show to prove otherwise. They've never put out any games or anything. Anyways, I don't want to make this ending too long, so that's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend to follow me on any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.